Let's talk about Brent Rooker. Here is his first major league home run from last season in St. Louis. Big moment for him. And I got into thinking about the Twins' position player depth. Oh, by the way, here's a 112 mile per hour exit velocity single. And, I think, especially since Simmons is the guy they signed most recently, it's easy to think about how the infield's looking really good. On the outfield, without Rosario, there's a little bit less concrete there, but Jake Cave could be a starter on a lot of teams. There's Brent Rooker here, obviously Alex Kirilloff. We'll talk about all that in a minute. Behind the plate, Mitch Garver was a 2019 Silver Slugger. Ryan Jeffers looked really good last year, so they're looking good all over the place. But Rooker, to me, kind of stands out as a guy who could step out and take advantage of some early season opportunities. Unfortunately, this is how his year ended last year with a fractured forearm. But let's talk a little bit more about him. What's up? This is Tom from Twins Daily. Let's get into this here. I'm at Baseball Savant. I've got this pulled up here for the Twins, and basically this is sorted out by hard hit percentage. You can see here I got the exit velocity set at 95 plus miles per hour. Total pitch parameters is set so that only batted balls are showing up here. That's kind of an important thing to do. Is to set those for this. And then, of course, we have basically these are the number of hard hit balls then, and then the total number of balls in play. As you can see here, Brent Rooker, yes, it's a very small sample. However, 7 of the 14 balls that he put into play were hard hit. 50%, Mitch Garver, another small sample, we know how hard he can hit the ball, right behind Sano and Donaldson, a couple guys who mash, and above Buxton and Nelson Cruz. So Brent Rooker really hit the ball very well with the Twins in his brief time with them. And, again, I was getting into thinking about opportunities and depth, and one of the positions I did not mention was first base. And if we take a look, obviously Miguel Sano is expected to be the starter there and get the majority of playing time. But there's a lot of guys who have experience at first base, but if you think about it, who's like the natural backup to Miguel Sano right now? And I'm not sure who that is. So it might be Brent Rooker. Mitch Garver played quite a bit of first base in the minor leagues when he wasn't catching. So he has time there. The same can be said about Max Kepler. Max Kepler actually played a ton of first base as opposed to outfield in the minor leagues. Alex Kirilloff has played quite a bit of more first base of late. But as we mentioned in another video, and I'll go ahead and put a card up here if you want to watch that and see kind of the logic behind this, it's not likely at this point, unless Alex Kirilloff signs an extension, it's more than likely he's going to spend some time in the minor leagues to start the season this upcoming year. I don't think he's going to be on the opening day roster unless he signs an extension. Service time things come into play. Again, I'll put a card to that video and you can check that out for this full explanation. So he definitely will be a factor on the Twins. Obviously, they put him in that playoff game. They obviously have big plans for him. But I don't think he's going to be on the opening day roster. So that creates a potential for a guy like Brent Rooker. Obviously Jake Cave is going to be, trying to secure that left field job for as long as he can. But again, back to first base. Miguel Sano hasn't exactly been the most healthy player. He's been injured, along with, a lot of guys. So if an opportunity presents itself, Jake Cave, I don't believe, has any first base experience. If he does, it's a ways back. One of the guys they traded away was Lamont Wade, who played a little bit of first base last year. But Marwin Gonzalez was a guy who played mostly there. I don't envision, Luis Arraez or Jorge Polanco playing first base if the need comes. If Josh Donaldson's playing in the field, I imagine he's going to be playing third base. If Josh Donaldson's healthy enough to be in the field, I don't think you're playing him at first. I think you're playing him at third. Maybe I'm wrong there. I don't know. But again, I think this is a really good avenue. And that's not even including the fact that without Kirilloff starting on the opening day roster, left field is open. Again, Brent Rooker, it wouldn't be the first time, too. We assume Alex Kirilloff is going to get the lion's share of playing time there. And again, I'm not trying to kind of question his potential or anything, but we've seen with a lot of the current Twins that are regulars that sometimes it takes a guy a while to get going. And, if Brent Rooker hits the ground running, wheels up, and really shows himself well again, he could force his way into the lineup for good. And, there's probably room for both of them anyway, because, Nelson Cruz, as good as he is, he only started in about 75% of the Twins games the past 2 seasons. He's just going to need a lot of days off as the DH. And, there's going to be opportunities other than that. Rocco loves to get guys involved. So, and again, he's 26 years old. So there's not really, unlike some of the younger guys, there's not really any reason for him to sort of need more seasoning in the minor leagues. Again, he looked really good with the Twins in that very short, it was only 21 plate appearances, so not much we can really say, but 316 with a 381 on base and a 579 slugging. That's going to get you some more looks at the big league level. And, if we look at his minor league numbers in AAA, it was only 65 games, but he posted a 933 OPS. This is a guy who strikes out a fair bit amount, but, pretty encouraging. A couple of those hits in that highlight video that we started out with went the other way. So kind of showing that he does have some plate coverage. He's not a guy who's just solely looking to pull the ball, hit for power. But he does have an excellent idea of what he's doing up there at the plate. He is a guy who's trying to get the ball in the air, a guy who's trying to hit for power. And defensively, again, mentioned first base could be an opportunity for him. Now, that isn't a place he's played much the past few years. Now, I don't know what he was doing down at the alternative side. It's possible he's getting some first base work in there. That was his primary position in his final year at Mississippi State in college, and then he played quite a bit his first 2 years in the Twins system at first, but then in 2019 did not play there at all, was a left fielder, and then in his time with the Twins, he only played outfield as well. So now I don't think that means he's done as a first baseman, or if a need arised, they wouldn't turn to him. So back to that 40-man roster. Again, it's possible maybe there's a guy that they add in between now and then. Speaking of that, they did just claim Kyle Garlick, who is a right-handed power hitter who kind of in that same mold as Brent Rooker. But don't know much about him yet. Maybe he's another guy who could factor in there, but certainly think Brent Rooker has a leg up. And yes, the forearm is healed. I believe in late November he was starting to swing, so I think in December he started to hit, so he should have a couple months of already hitting under his belt heading into spring training, so expecting everything to go as planned with him. So I'm really excited. It is a thing where he's got a lot of pressure on him with these guys coming, not only Kirilloff, but Larnach behind him and plenty of other. Again, Jake Cave is a pretty good, he could start on a lot of major league teams, so he's nothing to sneeze at either. But this is going to be really fun. I'm excited that Rooker's coming in healthy to spring training. He's as much as anyone, as far as offensive players, a guy I'm going to be looking at and hoping for him to have a great spring and sort of kick that off into a great start to the season.